This is going to be a multi-part tutorial series for the multiplayer zombie survival template on how to add in a campaign mode. So what I mean by that is like taking the default layout with Arena 1, Arena 2, Arena 3 and changing it so that way you can start at, say, level 1, and when you complete level 1 it'll automatically take you to level 2. When you beat level 2 it'll take you to level 3. It'll save your progress. So if you make it to level 2, you close the game and you come back 2 days later, it will pick up on the same level that you're on. You can keep playing. It'll have all of the levels listed, but they'll all be locked until you actually complete the previous level. So to start off with, you'll only be able to play level 1, and once you beat level 1, then you can play level 2. Once you beat level 2, you can play level 3, and you can always go back, but you can't go forward until you beat the previous level. And you can change all these rules. If you don't like it that way, you can adjust it, but I'm going to show you how to set this all up. And it's going to be a multi-part tutorial series. I'll put them all in a playlist here on YouTube, and you guys can check it out. So the first part here is going to be part 1, and it's just going to focus on the actual, just like a win game scenario, a win game event. So we need a way to trigger winning the actual level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to HGT, I'm going to go to Blueprints, I'm going to make a brand new folder, right click, create a new folder, and I'm going to call it campaign, and we're going to put all of the stuff we're going to create in here. And I've already went through a lot of this stuff already on my own time just to make sure it all works. It's a lot of things, that's why I'm doing it in multiple parts. So, but I'll try to go through and recreate it for you on the video here. So you'll have an empty folder. What you want to do is we need to make a win game trigger. So what you can do easily if you want to save some time is you can come down here to the doors folder, and you can just duplicate the door, right click, duplicate, and name it something like win game trigger, and then move it into that campaign folder that we created. You can just click and drag it in there like that. So once you have that, you can open it up and you'll see it's just a door, and you can change this to whatever you want. Change the mesh. You probably don't want it a door. You'll change it to something else. Alright, and so once you have it tweaked to how you like it to look, there's only a few things you have to change. So on the left hand side there's a hint string. This is what the message is going to read. Change the default value to something, whatever you want. I changed it to hold F to win game. Very simple. And you can also adjust the cost. How much do you want to charge players to win the game? You can set it to 0 if you don't want to charge them, or you can set it to 100 or 50,000. Whatever your game is, whatever your rules are, it's up to you. If you just want the hint string, you can connect it directly in right here. If you didn't want the cost, if you want to keep the cost, you can just adjust the value. So I'm going to set it to 100. So it's going to say hold F to win the game for 100 points. Alright, and then scroll down to the bottom down here where it says open door. You can change this name to like start win game event, just to save things there. And if you scroll over, here's the logic for the points. And you don't have to, if you don't want to do this, you can take it out. I'm going to leave it. By default, it's set to activate new zones. So it looks like this. What we're going to do is just take that off. You can delete it if you want. And we're going to connect in this right here, which is going to be a brand new event that you don't have yet. It's going to be called the win game event. So let's hop over into the gameplay game mode and create this event, and then we'll come back and you can hook this up. So let's go to HGT, core blueprints, gameplay GM, which is game mode. That's what it stands for. And what you want to do is right click, create a brand new custom event, call it win game event. And I put a print string here that just says you won. And I also made a new event called Make Players Invincible. So I right clicked and created a new custom event, Make Players Invincible. And it does what it says. It makes players invincible, and you'll see why. So basically when you win the game, you might want. I set it up where you have like maybe 3 to 5 seconds of like a widget popping up on the screen that says, "Congratulations, you won. I'm preparing to load next level." In that 5 seconds, you don't want players to die or get killed by zombies or something like that would cause them to die. So I'm just temporarily making them invincible while we're waiting on the next level to load. So all you gotta do is just get all the player controllers, do a for each loop, get the controlled pawn, check to see if it's valid, cast the third person, set their health to a ridiculously high value, like 99999. In the 3 seconds, I doubt they're going to lose 9999 health unless they somehow jump off a cliff or something into a void. I don't know. The odds of you dying that way are slim. So it's a simple, easy way to keep people from like dying from zombies or enemies. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Next thing you want to check though when we come back to the win game event is I just check the number of players. If number of players is equal to 1, then we'll do the single player campaign logic. And if it's equal to 2, if it's greater than 1. If number of players is greater than 1, then we'll do multiplayer logic. So if you're watching this and your game is totally single player, it's a lot easier, less work I would say, than compared to the multiplayer version. So you can just follow along here. So we'll start with single player. Number of players equals 1. Then first you want to remove all widgets. Then probably, you don't have to do this, but you'll probably want to create like a win game widget that pops up on your screen that says you won. I'll show you mine. I just right clicked. I went all the way to the bottom, user interface, and I created a new widget blueprint. And I'll show you what it looks like here. It's very simple. I literally just added a overlay with a background blur. You can search it up here in the top. Type in all this stuff, background blur, overlay. You just drag them in here. I drug in a vertical box and then 2 text box and a circular throbber is what it's called. Those are all found right here in this window on the left. I drug them in here. You can adjust the size and colors here. I just says you won, loading next campaign or chapter. That's literally all it does. It has no logic inside of it. Nothing in here. It's just for looks only. So once you've created, however you want it to look, I know yours isn't going to look like this. You can make yours all fancy, sparkly, whatever you want to do. Add sound effects, whatever. Once you create it, you come back to the game mode where we were just at, and you just simply create widget and select that widget right here, and then connect up the get player controller node to it. Make sure you add it to your viewport. Then this is up to you on time. I delayed, wait 3 seconds, and after 3 seconds, we're going to load the next level. So to load the next level, we got to create this new function. So on the left-hand side under function, you click the little plus sign here, and it'll create a new function, and I called it load next campaign level. And what I did first, you right-click, you type in get current level name, you get this node here, and then I created a new variable down here. Click the button here for a new variable, and I called it I called it next campaign level, and it's set to type name. And then I also created a variable called all campaign levels, and it's set to type name, but it's an array. So you click this little button here and change it to an array instead of a single. And you don't have to set a default value for the next campaign level, but you do need to change, or you need to add all of the levels in this array here for all campaign levels. So under the default values, you click the little plus button for every level that you have. And they have to be spelled correctly. So in my case, in my test, or in my scenario for this template, I have my levels named Arena 1, Arena 2, and Arena 3. So I set those here in the order that I want. And once you have that set up, we could come back here and we can just drag in the all campaign levels, and you can drag off of it and you find the current level name. So it's going to find whatever level you're on currently, then it's going to add one to it right here, and then you're just going to get whatever that is and set that as the next level. And we'll get to this right here in a second. You won't have this node. We'll move that up for now. You won't have that yet. We need to click on this purple node here, the start, and click on output. We need to add an output. So click the plus sign, change it to type name, and call it next campaign level. And then you will plug in the next level into the return node. So what that's going to do is it's just going to take that list of levels here. So we have level 1, 2, and 3. You beat level 1. It's going to say, alright, I'm on level 1. Let's get this index of 0, add 1 to it, which is index 1. And it's going to say, alright, let's load arena 2. So then on the next level, if you beat arena 2, it's going to say, we're at index 1. Let's add 1 to it. That's 1 plus 1 equals 2. Let's load arena 3. And so that's how it's a simple way of, you just store all of your level names in this array inside the game mode. So that is how you're going to do that. I will come back to this right here. Yours will just hook up directly like that for now. And let's see. So we'll come back here to the event graph where we were working on this, and you can drag in the load next campaign level directly into the graph here and connect it up after your delay. So we'll create the widget, wait 3 seconds, load the next level. Then you just type in, right click and type open level, and this node pops up, and you connect the pins up, and it will open the level for single player and switch you over to the next level. So that's how you do the solo one. And let's see, for multiplayer it's similar. So off of if your number of players is greater than 1, that means you're in a multiplayer game. We come down here, we want to get all the player controllers. We want to do a for each loop, cast to gameplay PC, and this is where things get a little trickier. So you're going to have to create a new event, but you can go ahead and I guess set the points. I set the points back to 500 just in case everything like when you beat level 1, you go to level 2, you want the points to reset back to whatever you start with, and by default in the template it's 500. So you can change this to whatever you want, but this will change the points back to 500 because you don't want to go into the next level with 1,000,000 points on wave 1. So that's how you can do that. But let's go ahead and create this event. So we need to open up the gameplay player controller. So it's under HGT, core blueprints, gameplay PC. We open it up, and I just came down to the bottom right and I just created a new custom event, and make sure it's set to run on owning client and check the reliable box. And what you want to do is first remove all widgets, then create a widget, and it's the win game widget. Just plug in self as the owning player and then add it to your viewport. So once you have that, we could go back to the game mode, and you can just drag off of this gameplay PC cast node and type in create win game widget, plug it in. So now when you win the game, it will create that widget for all the players in the game, and then you just off of the completed pin, you wait 3 seconds, and then we're going to have to load the new next campaign level. And you'll see it's a little different. You can't use the open level node like we did up here because it's multiplayer. We got a server travel in order to bring all the players with us when we go. So what you can do is you can drag off of this command, or you can right click, type in execute console command. You'll get this node right here. Plug in the get player controller 0 into the specific player, and then for the command, what you want to do is you want to drag off of it and type in append like this, and it'll give you this node that looks like this. And on the top node, what you want to do is you want to type it in exactly like I have this right here. And if you don't want to type it in or you're scared you'll mess it up, you can come into the core blueprints, HGT core blueprints, lobby game mode. And if you scroll over here where it says launch game, maps, launch the game event here, I already have these console commands. So you can just copy this right here and paste it, go back to gameplay game mode, paste it in right there, and you don't have to worry about missing a misspelling anything. But the only and then that's on the top, the A pin. On the B pin, you just connect in the next level right here like that, and it'll give you this nice little node. The only thing that you have to make sure that you do, I wrote it right here, make sure all of your levels are in this location, otherwise the level will not be found, it won't load. And by that, I'll show you. So this is a simple, easy way of doing it, but you have to make sure you keep everything tidy. So in HGT, there's a folder called Maps, and here's where all the maps are. So if you have a bunch of new maps, say you have Jungle Map 1 and Desert Map 5 or Space Level 3, make sure you put them all in this folder right here. And that way, this new system we're creating will always work. You won't have to worry about anything. Just put them all in this folder, and all will be good. So then when we come back in here, this system we're setting up will always work, and you won't have to go in and manually type in this command for every level like we used to. So once you plug that up like that, that will handle the multiplayer part of it for launching levels. And the last thing is what I was talking about earlier, was inside of the function, the load next level, the campaign level, and that was this node here called save campaign level. And that's where we're going to actually create a game save for like saving and loading your progress. So like, let's say you beat level 1, you beat level 2, but then you got to go to sleep. So I was like, I got to get off for the night. Well, this is going to save your progress, so that way when you come back 2 days later, when you open up the game, it's going to load the game save and say, oh, he was on level 3. He just beat level 1 and 2. He's on level 3. And it'll let you continue at level 3. So that's what this is for. And I'm going to pick that up on the next video because it involves a little more stuff. But the final thing before I go is back on the win game trigger, which looks like a door in our example here. Make sure we go back and on the gameplay, well, on this event, start win game event, drag off and call that win game event that we created inside of the game mode. So when you double click it, you'll see it takes you straight back here to the game mode, and this is where we just created all this new logic. So if you want to hop into the game, I will set it to, I'll show two players just for the sake of the tutorial. And we will put client on the left, server on the right. Here's our little door. You won, loading next campaign, or next chapter in the campaign. And there we go. Now it took us to level 2. And what's cool is I'm in Unreal Engine 5.5, which is the newest at the time of making this video, and I didn't know that that they had added server travel in the editor. Used to, you couldn't server travel between levels like this, I don't think, like in Unreal Engine 4 and some of the earlier builds, but apparently it works now. So if you're in a different version, an earlier version, or Unreal Engine 4, it might not work when you're testing in the editor with 2 players. It'll definitely work with 1 player though, because I was always used to like being able to travel to the next level in single player, but not in the editor in multiplayer. I always had to package my project. So just a little warning there. If you're using Unreal Engine 4, an earlier build, and it doesn't travel with 2 players, don't think that it's broke. It's an editor bug that's been in the game engine forever. But if you package the game and test it with 2 players, then you can see if it works or not, which it should work. It'll work if you have everything, if you have this typed in correctly. Because basically it's just saying server travel 2, and then you put in the directory right here. It's server travel space, and then you put in the slash, and then the directory to wherever your levels are located. So that wraps up this first video on how to make the actual win game event, how you can actually win the game. And like I said, if you don't want to create this widget. Like if you don't want your own widget, you can always just straight call my game over widget. Like when you die in the zombie template, I have a game over event that calls the create game over widget right here, and I can show it to you. Let's see, game over widget. It's just a simple widget that looks like this. Game over. You survived X and like 5 waves or 1 wave, whatever, and then it has the restart level, return to lobby, exit the main menu, this kind of stuff. I mean, you can call this if you want to create this. If you want this widget to be created instead of the win game widget, wherever that is, this one. It's up to you. You could build your entirely brand new widget if you want with your own buttons that do its own thing. It's totally up to you. I'm just saying, you have options. You don't have to do exactly as I do when it comes to the widgets and stuff. But that's how you set up a win game scenario, and I will see you on part 2 to show you how to set up the save game logic.